Hello my friends, believe me or not, but those are the other Russian barracks that were, as you can see, demolished. It happened in Aleshki, and Russia used this facility as the base for mobilized soldiers and also experienced soldiers. So basically it used to be the hotel. The building, as you can see, survived. It's not like in Makiivka where the college was absolutely destroyed. Here rockets fell just near to the place, hitting some sort of the small buildings that probably were used for equipment. So there was some sort of the hangar that was devastated, but the building survived. I mean, the main one, and probably many Russians also survived, unlike in Makiivka. Here is, but we still don't have the information, the figures of the wounded Russian soldiers or those soldiers who might lost their lives because of that particular attack. And obviously it was the HIMARS rocket attack. Aleshki is very close to Kherson. It's on the other shore of the Dnieper River. So how was this place found by Ukrainian army? Basically Russians helped us with that. They published some of the photos with machine guns, and one of the guys, Petr Loshkovoy, who is the Russian soldier, forgot to turn off the geolocation on his phone, and we have the exact place of his location. Plus he published this photo and clearly shows the hotel. And this is the aftermath after the Russians attack on this hangar in Drushkivka, Donetsk region of Ukrainian controlled territory. As you can see, it's some sort of the storage, and no HIMARSes were there, as Russian media reported, or any kind of vehicles. This was the storage of humanitarian help for the locals who were forced to evacuate from the Frontline's territories. You can see lots of the bottles there, and Russians told already that we put the bottles eagerly. How can you put the bottles in just a few hours? Such many, and especially this tube that fell down clearly shows that those bottles were there before the attack for sure. And here are those tubes as well. I was wondering, maybe those are the remains of the rockets, but not. It's just a simple air recirculation system. The part of it just was destroyed, and actually the small part sustained some of the damage. This is the hockey field, my friends, actually. And here we have many seats on the left side of arena. Right, new release of the tactical maps, and let me get you familiar with that. Svatova, my friends, Russia is still attacking over here. Just from the Svatova, they have the full battalion to do it. And on the south here, they also tried to reach some of the ground, and actually successfully. Near to Ploshanka, they took some of the ground, but were not successful here on the north. Svatova could be the key city for Ukrainian counterattack, which may undergo very soon. I think maybe just in a few weeks. You see, if Russia announces mobilization next week, and they may have up to 500,000 new soldiers, still they have to train them, and we need to use that time for Ukrainian counterattacks, because otherwise in 2 months Russia will concentrate more forces on the front lines. The eastern side of Ukraine, Donbass and Bakhmut, is over here. It's hard to see something with that scale, and let me tell you about it a little bit later. Now let's speak about the Russian counterattacks. They still try to reach Bilohorivka, that they lost, but their attempts are unsuccessful. And we have the Ukrainian counterattack here near to Kreminna. It means that we're still on small counterattacks, but Russian defense is very strong out there. And as you can see, Russia still continued to push, but with no any kind of achievements throughout the recent days. And the British intelligence, for example, says that Russia is just exhausted near to Bakhmut. Probably that is why they need new cannon fodder and will announce the massive mobilization. That's the Bakhmut, more closer. The hardest situation, I think, over here in the city park and near to Opetne, because Russia crossed the defense lines of Ukrainian soldiers. But today the leader of the Wagner group, Prigozhin, said that do not look at the front line as defense line, because Ukraine put every house and every building as defense line. So there should be around 500 of them. And also they split their attacks in the south. One goes from Opetne and other one to Klishivka on this village. But there's some of the hills, and we still keep the high ground in that area. And there are some defense lines of Ukrainian forces. I don't think that Russia is able to penetrate them over here. And as for the main Russian attack vector, you can see that they are not in a populated zone, but they keep the part of the park, the city park, under their control. So the fighting is ongoing in that area. Just to remind you, Ukrainians were able to push Russians away from their residential areas and from this place as well. Speaking about Kherson, well, here is the island, Potemkinsky Island over here. It's the biggest one out there, and it was claimed by some of the resources that Ukraine took control over it, but actually not. It was some sort of the misinformation, because Ukraine put the flag on a part of that island, but still the part of it is under control by the Russian forces. And this is the Russian city of Samara. You can see many people just came to some sort of the monument of the fallen soldiers of the Second World War, and they put the flowers because they've lost their relatives in Makivka. Because most of the mobilized Russian soldiers were from Samara region, and you can see how many people are there. The main thing that there are lots of the people in the square, and still not many relatives got the official information from the Russian command that their relatives fallen because of the HIMARS attack. So Russia continued to say that there are many men missing, and officially 63 people capitulated. Prigozhin says about the Wagner soldiers, ex-prisoners, so he is surrounded by them and they are in some sort of the hospital, and he says that if you lost one leg, doesn't matter, you're still in Wagner group. And he said that we may send you to the mine the fields again, still you have one more leg, and if that got amputated, we're gonna weld something iron on that place and you're still gonna serve for the Wagner group. And it's just nonsense, my friends. Then he openly says like that, and people are okay with it. And also Prigozhin says that those prisoners, they're doing fantastic job, because normal people in Russia can still live their normal lives, and if there were no any prisoners, normal people would have to suffer. And actually he says like that to those prisoners, and they're totally fine with it. They're laughing because they were taken from the Russian prison, and conditions in the Russian prison is much worse compared to Wagner group, obviously. But in Wagner you have the risk of losing your health and also life, but there seems to be okay with it. Dana M2 self-propelled artillery is coming to Ukraine from Czech Republic. Awesome. And one more Russian base was destroyed in Tokmak. It's near to Melitopol. It could be the first city for Ukrainian counterattack on the south. As you can see, search and rescue team is working in a place. Yeah, I think it's the two-story building, and just one area, the one section of it was devastated. President Zelensky, in his usual address to the nation every evening, he does it, and he says that Russia will try to accumulate more forces and also attack Ukraine once again, at least to postpone their loss, because clearly even with 500,000 soldiers they're not gonna win this war. Why? Because Ukraine has the spirit to fight, and also we have the huge support from our Western allies. This is the Russian air defense system S-400. It's the best system that they have, and it's been trophied by Ukrainian army, and I hope we're gonna fix it and it will serve for us, because we need lots of the air defense systems. And S-400, I would say it's very similar to S-300, just some of the modifications were put to the S-300 and they call it S-400, but still they claim that it's one of the best in the world. Probably it could be like that. Turkey wanted to have those systems in their army, but Turkey is the NATO member country. They've got some of the pressure from the United States side, and finally I don't know whether they were able to sign the contract for the S-400 systems. And strangely, there are so many drones are flying now to the Russian Federation territory. Russia uses their air defense systems. In the most cases they shut down all of the drones, but the main thing that it's more and more frequently nowadays. Russia is planning to use their strategic aviation to attack Ukraine in 2023. At least the officials from the Russian Air Forces say like that, and also they try to modernize the Tupolev 160. So this is the Tupolev 160, probably the best bomber out there, excluding B-2 obviously, and it's very similar looking to B-1 American bomber, but this is the 2 times larger. And now Russia wants to start the production of those airplanes, but they simply can't because they lost the old factories, old technologies. What they have are the spare parts and also fuselages, wings and other stuff that was made in Soviet Union. And what they want now is to put all of the spare parts together, creating some of the airplanes of Tupolev 160 and Tu-22 M3. Mounting together those planes, they will use quite old technologies because they simply have no access to the new systems and high technologies that Western world provided to Russia before the war started. Previously, Russia managed to modify Tupolev 160. They have few of the modified versions of those airplanes with glass cockpit, with everything. But if you want to see inside that airplane, I have a video, so let's go for it. The Tupolev 160 active fleet has been undergoing upgrades to electronic systems, and the new variant is called Tu-160M, modernized. Unfortunately, in Ukraine you will not find this bird flying anymore. As I told you many times before, I'm not really into the military aviation because the purpose for military is to kill people. So I'm a civilian guy, so I'm into the commercial aviation more than into military. However, I still like this beautiful, gorgeous Tupolev 160. It's absolutely fantastic, big airplane that was capable to fly, to maintain the speed up to 2,200 kilometers an hour at altitude of 13,000 meters. It's wow, it's great. It's the fastest airplane of that class and probably the only airplane of that class that is capable for this kind of performance and also carry nuclear weapons inside. There is, however, the airplane that looks very similar to this one, looks quite the same. It's a bomber, the United States bomber B-1, but it's smaller compared to Tupolev 160. And also, my friends, I have something. I have this wonderful card. That's the pass to get inside this airplane. So let's go inside. Alright guys, Tupolev 160, first time cockpit review by Pilot Blog. Let's go inside. Okay, nice leather. Oh my god, oh, it's so dark here. Oh, the smell of Soviet aircraft. Ouch, ouch. There is the light, there is the light. Oh my god, it's nice here. For people, for crew members. Yeah, you enter through the nose gear bay. And what is this? This is for navigator, for sure. And this is for the guy who drops the bombs. Many switches, you can switch them, you can cluck and do whatever you want. Very nice opportunity for kids. Okay, wow. I'll put aside my things as usual and gonna go to the captain's seat. And here we have the Airbus style, but it's not the side stick, it's the front stick, like on a fighter jet. Woo! Guys, I think this cockpit is quite comfortable, but also small. I think on Boeing 737 the cockpit is bigger. Yeah, it's the Soviet supersonic airplane, so the cockpit should be kind of small. What do we have here are the flight instruments. Quite modern, artificial horizon, heading, bearing, etc. It's not connected. So we have ABSU. It's similar to fly-by-wire system. So you deflect the handle somewhere, the stick somewhere, and there are special computers that process the signal. So it's very similar to fly-by-wire, but it's more analog compared to Airbus because the technology is very old. Throttle control, interconnected for the captain and first officer. Emergency brakes. Come on, yeah, you can pull them. What are those? The flaps. Flaps 65. Oh, you have also the swept wing is changing on this aircraft, so we don't have the fixed wing, so it's not the 65, it's the wing, yeah, wing 65, and here are the flaps. So the flaps 40, full wingspan, full flaps. The landing gears here should be down because we are on the ground. The overhead panel is very simple. Emergency drop of the canopy, it's not working. What is there? Also, I don't know. I hope the emergency the ejection is not working here as well. This the trim wheel for pitch up, pitch down. Come on, just for pitch up, and we can move it pitch up. Here's the slide window. Come on, how can it be slided? Okay, closed. It's similar to Boeing 737, so we need to pull it and do like this. It's a nice airplane. The cockpit, I'm surprised, my friends, the cockpit is kind of modern. As you can see, we have push buttons, we have fly-by, very similar to fly-by-wire system. The stick is huge, it's very huge, and it's not interconnected to the first officer. With the first officer, I wonder why. Maybe they just broke the link, they terminated it for a while. Oh my friends, what can you see from this airplane? Actually, you can see the ground from this position, and it's more or less okay. It's more or less nice cockpit. Great great review, I like it. Yeah, my friends, as I told you, I'm like a kid here, like a kid. I think all the instruments are not working here except this. This is a very reliable thing, and even kids couldn't broke it. This is clock, the aviation clock. My friends, again, thank you very much for your support on Patreon. Because of you, I'm here now reviewing this beautiful airplane. I've never seen such a complicated seat construction. Just look at this. And I wonder what is this. Some kind of canister from both sides. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's so complicated and it looks so heavy. What is this? Probably this is for the parachute that is installed into this seat. Hope it is removed right now and the ejection system is being deactivated. Just hope, because I think from this airplane you can eject. Yes, I'm sure about it. Yeah, good old times without the war. My friends, I'm gonna keep you updated on situation in Ukraine. If you want to support this channel, just press the like button. If you want to support me financially, there are also the links in the video description below. You may support me on Patreon, PayPal, or Donatella. Thank you so much for your help. My friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.